Hello, everyone. Um, Let me know if you can hear me. If there's anyone in here yet, but basically, this is my regularly scheduled um, commentary, and I've got to stop letting the events of others dictate my commentary, and I end up pushing it to the back burner. Now, what I want to share with you is regarding genealogy. And it's something that you can do, and it doesn't have to cost you anything, but the results you get are priceless. And the priceless results of genealogy are numerous and many. And it's a good weekend project for those who work all week and can put some time into it over the weekend. It's not only beneficial to you, it's beneficial to everyone. So, having said that, how do you do it? Well, with genealogy, you have to work backwards. You start with your parents and their grandparents, their parents, and their parents, and you keep going backwards. And some of the benefits are you can even find out um, what health conditions you are predisposed to and those that are genetic. You can find out what sorts of jobs your family has held over generations and their education if you don't already know it. Um, you get introduced to family that you didn't know about, other than maybe word of mouth, and then sometimes not even word of mouth. Now, one woman's, and I know her personally, she never met or knew her grandfather. And at 90 years old, because of genealogy, she was able to find out who he was and get a picture of him. And she kept it by her bedside for her until she passed away. Just that information is also priceless. Now, we have the misfortune of slavery as part of our history. So that becomes what's called in the genealogy world a brick wall. But there are now genealogy pages that are only for Black history, Black people's research. And I think another thing that I put it in the chat, the best sites are Ancestry, but you need to keep it private so that the information is just there for you and your family. And there's also US Gen Web. That's in the description, in the link also. There's a link in the description. And then local records. And how I benefited personally when I did my family's genealogy, I learned that, I had been told word of mouth about my Native American ancestry. However, that research provided me with actual documentation. It's called a DAWS number, a registration number. And so now my family has benefit of that registration because that entitles you to grants, um, scholarships, education, housing, food, everything. And you can find this out because one thing leads to another. And when you do your research, you have to take copious notes. You have to as I said, work backwards. And, it's very tedious work. That's why I say it is a weekend project for some. But I think it's a weekend project that you can essentially work on the weekends, but it's beneficial for your children as well. And the links that I've provided um, can give you that information. And I mean, you can go back um, maybe over 100, 150 years. But with slavery, it becomes a problem. But the brick wall can be broken down through those African American websites. I'll have to look them up and repost them. Um, but what you find once you get on both sites, you find out more about your family. Um, let's see, she's my great great grandmother. Um, I was able to find, and they call them schooners or something like that. I was able to find her on the manifest of a schooner, and it was like amazing to actually see that information, but then to actually find a old drawing of the schooner. So that makes your history even more complete because then you know who your family is. Another good site for it, Shauna. Hi, Shauna. Hi, Patrice. Another good site for researching is the Freedmen's Bureau. You can search a name in there. And I was able to find some of my family in on their websites, finding out that one of my relatives worked there as a nurse. Um, just many different things you can find, but it helps you know who you are, and it helps you know where you came from. And it was so valuable to me personally and my family to know what health conditions we are predisposed to, because now we can take preventative action, and that is so important. But if you have any questions as you're doing your research, come back to this video and put your questions in the comments. And if I can direct you further, I'll be glad to do it. But knowing your people and who they were is really something that, is worth the time on the weekends. And Shauna, you're right. It's a monumental task. And um, I've done two branches of my family. And now I have to go into another branch of that branch. But it is very interesting and very helpful to you as a person. So that's all I wanted to say. Like I said, my commentary ends up getting put on the back burner. And what I would like to provide for everyone who visits my channel, I would like to provide information, education that assists you and informs you, but also enlightens you. So, with that, having said that, I'm going to go and be sure and check the links and really try them. You've been looking for my. Yeah, Shauna, you're going to have to dig very deep. And going on US Gen Web is a great start because then you can go locally. And when you go locally, you can look up that person's name. And you can also do it on one of those is a census project. And you can look your family up on the census. And believe it or not, the census is so important. And you can look on that and find out who they are, who their parents were, and other relatives. But it also shows you the neighbors, and you'll see other relatives who live nearby that you may not have even known about. So when you do that, go to the US Gen Web and pick your state and look at that, Shauna. And that's where Yeah, you don't know who her parents were, but you know who she is. But when you start digging deep on like US Gen Web and the um, local papers, that's where I found some records on some of my relatives who were like, I mean, things like medical, not medical, but marriage licenses and the day they got married, and also on death certificates of a person, it states, when you do ancestry, who that person's parents were and who their spouse was. So you can find her. And like I said, if you have any questions, just come back to this video and put the question in the comments, and I will be glad to help you or direct you. And those African American websites, I will have to look them up again because I had them bookmarked and they are, um, I can't find the bookmarks now. I don't know why, but those are very helpful. But yeah, that's something that you will find so beneficial. Like I said, my family, we got the papers now that we are, you know, and have been for generations registered as Native Americans. And I'm like, wow, you know, um, I was amazed to find it. And I didn't find it because I was looking for it. I just followed the trail of each family member and I came upon that. Yeah, all good. One side has papers, okay? And the other side may have them too. There is so much out there that you can learn about yourself, what you're entitled to. It's amazing. Okay, have a good day, everyone. I'm going to get back to my writing and I will see you all another time. Bye bye. Have a great weekend. This is a great weekend project.